Okay. Today's something pretty important I want to talk about. It's something that you need to get very clear on very quickly. I didn't know this until after my divorce. The main thing to understand is you need to create a routine for your life. Understand that if you don't create the routine yourself, you will be assigned one. The world, society, it'll all put one on you. 100%. There is no maybe. It will do it. The other thing outside of that routine is your purpose. It's your purpose in your life of what you're shooting for. Also, you do not assign this yourself. You will be assigned one. It's just how it works. Understand that these couple things, your life as a whole, there's many things that shape it. But two of the first things that you need to understand, you need to create your routine and create your purpose. I promise you, if you do not do this, if you do not actively take the time to see this, to visualize it, to put a plan into action for yourself, it will be created for you. Your time will be taken up by other people, by other things, by jobs, by everything, all that. And once you get your routine straight and your purpose straight, you can create your career. Same thing applies. If you don't create your own career, it will be created for you. It's just getting out of the mundane activities. It's getting out of the rut that life can create. It's something that I fell into as I started to see success in some areas of my life. I fell into the rut of the bigger picture. And that is how I ended up a divorced man. My routine and my purpose, just I didn't create it myself clear enough. When I thought I reached a goal, I hadn't. I just didn't take the time to keep recreating it or expanding upon it, maybe. So just understand that. Get that clear right now in your head. If you're somebody that doesn't have a clear routine or a purpose for your life, you need to start thinking about it. And that should really consume you right now. It is something that you need to get very, very serious about. Because it's something that when you have a routine and purpose, and honestly, if you're a person that has built their career, you can start to experience life on a totally different way. It's almost like you've gamified it. You've created a framework to your life yourself, because you're shooting for something. You're actually reaching for an end goal. So instead of just showing up at your job and barely doing what you're supposed to do because you just woke up out of bed and rushed your way to work, get into a good routine. Set expectations upon yourself and meet those expectations. Again, you can almost gamify this thing, and it feels good because when you reach the expectation, you've won that moment, which can lead you to winning that day, which can lead you to winning that week, that month, that year, hopefully overall winning at life. But it all starts with the routine. You have to start there. Then move on to the purpose. So for me, my routine early days, like we've talked about in some of the other videos, was my routine, growth, starting to get into it. As I got a very, clean cut routine for my days, which, to go over it quickly, one of the other videos I go over a little more clearly. But I get up right when the alarm goes off. I go straight to brush my teeth, straight after brush my teeth, getting dressed, straight from getting dressed, back to the bathroom to do my other bathroom, whether it be go to the bathroom or put on deodorant, whichever one's striking me first. And straight from there, straight out to the kitchen, get food ready, straight from there, straight to the truck. Like there is no downtime. I don't stop and waste time. That was my routine in the early days. Once I had that routine down and it started to work, I was able to set purpose. Okay, what's my purpose? What is the purpose? I think my purpose for overall my life has changed over time, over these last couple of years. Because in the early days, this thing will start to reshape and remold, or at least it did for me. I shouldn't place that upon you. I shouldn't say that, in the early days you'll have no idea, or you'll kind of be shooting in the dark. Because you know what? I have a suspicion that most will, because it's a new space. Having said that, I can't place that upon you. But for me, purpose was hard to really get a handle on. So I had to really shorten that timeline. I could give a very vague picture further down, like for life purpose. Let's just say that, because I still wanted that like bigger framework to kind of chunk down. And it was ultimately to be, again, in the early days, the best father to my children. And that's all the way around. It's mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, all of it. And that it was just very vague. Bow, it's up there, it's done. So from there, I started to chunk of that. What's that mean to get to that guy? What does each one of those spaces mean? Okay, well, my purpose for today is to get to tomorrow. What do I need to do today to get to tomorrow to become that guy way down there? Again, these are very, very small. I just gotta get up. I gotta get moving. That guy in the future, I know one damn thing. He ain't gonna be a fat fucking slob. I know that. So what do I need to do? I need to work out. Okay, cool. I gotta work out. So I do that daily. As I've kind of went on over time, I take some rest days here and there, depending on how I feel, whether I hit my sets that I need for the week in the certain muscle groups. But honestly, in the early days, there was never a day I didn't move my body for fitness. Some days it wasn't a full blown workout. Some days it was just push ups and sit ups and things like that. But I did something every day. That was my purpose, was to become that man. Set those intentions early. So from there, I started to go into the weeks, and win that and go that route. So as I started to win certain days to get to the next day, I was able to build weeks. Okay, what am I trying to do within each one of these spaces? So let's just stick with the fitness side, right? So I was going to work out every day. Okay, what did working out mean? I got to move my body. Okay, started to move the body. This is all under routine. When can I work out? Well, I can always get up earlier before work because I have a hard line start of my work time, 7 a.m. How long does it take me to get to work? It takes me about 20 minutes. From the second I turn the key in my truck till I'm walking in the door at work and ready to work, 20 minutes. Okay, check that out. I mean, 6:40. Okay, how long does it take me to do my morning routine? Brushing teeth, to getting changed, go in the bathroom, put on deodorant, to get the food ready. About 15 minutes. Okay, pull that back. 6:25. Okay, the days that my kids are here, so might as well just add that in there. How long does it take me to get them up, get them ready? Well, I usually put their clothes out because I want this to be smooth. Actually, you know what? That's not how I happen first. How long does it take to get them up? It takes about 20 minutes to get them up moving. Okay, well, how can I make that quicker? Well, I could lay their clothes up the night before. Okay, that shaves off about 5 minutes, to be honest. It's only like 15 minutes. They're getting up early enough that they get to go to the sitters in the morning and relax and chill out on the bus. So it's not important that they do a bunch of different things. So about 15 minutes. Okay, cool. That puts me back again. What is that? 6:10. 6:10 a.m. That's hard lines. Hard times. That's like second to second to second. Let's pull it back to 6 a.m. Pull it, shave off 10 more minutes. Pull it out. 6 a.m. The absolute, and I mean up to the wire moment I can get up, 6 a.m. How long does it take me to work out? Takes an hour. Okay, that's 5 a.m. I'd have to start working out at 5 a.m. to be done at 6 a.m. to get everything moving in the right direction. But we know that isn't going to work. How long would it take for you to get up, get changed, get stuff ready to work out, and also after you're done working out, give yourself the time to get inside to obviously get changed to do all these other things? It's 4:30 a.m. Okay, 4:30 a.m. Gotcha. So 4:30 a.m. is a hard start. Yeah. Okay. So 4 to 4:30 a.m. That window of time. The closer I push to 4:30, the closer I am to losing. The closer I am to 4, the easier it is for me that day. Okay, clear. Got that cleared out. That's just on the morning side. I wrote that down. That was part of my routine. Can I do this? Can I fit this in? Okay, what would happen after work? Okay, well, I get off work at this time. Same thing. Setting up my routine. What time do I get off work? Well, the way I set my schedule up now is I skip my lunch, skip my breaks. I just have handheld food. Remember, we talked about that in another video. I don't stop and sit down for long periods of time because I want to keep my day moving. I want to stay active. I'm not saying that's right for everybody. It's right for me, though. My food is prepped in a way that it doesn't take me sitting down with a knife and a fork, a spoon, and all that. I can eat it handheld. I will get in all the protein that I need in a meal, all the carbs, all the fats I need in a meal for the day of work with one handheld meal. So I keep moving. When do I get off work? 2:30. Okay. What's it take to get home? 20 minutes. Puts me at 3. Actually puts me at 2:50. How long does it take you to get ready to work out? 10, 15 minutes. You got to push it back a little bit, right? That's hard lines. Let's be real. 3:30 is probably about the earliest I'm going to be working out. By the time I get everything done, drive, the traffic, the getting changed after work if I need to. Sometimes I'll wear my work clothes. Getting the pre-workout if I want to drink a pre-workout. All that stuff. 3:30 is about the earliest I can work out. Okay, how long am I working out? An hour. Gotcha. That puts you at 4:30. Time you gotta pick up the kids. 5 at the latest. I have to be at the sitters at 5. Okay. How long does it take you to get sitters? 10 minutes. Gotcha. 4:50, I have to be done working out. No, 4:50, I have to be in the truck leaving. So from 3:30 to 4:30, it's a hard line. That gives me a cushion of 20 minutes, which is not much, guys. But I have to stay on routine. I have to stay on task. So if I decide to work out in the afternoons, which I do 90% of the time right now, probably more like 95% of the time right now, I'm coming straight home. There is no distractions. Straight to working out. Straight to getting changed, depending on how hard the workout is. If it's in the summer, it's outside a lot, I'm sweating a lot. That 20-minute cushion is pivotal. I will have enough time to wash off in the shower, throw on some clothes, go get the kids, be there by 5. That is my routine daily to build the bigger picture of that man in the future that I see, of the purpose that I see for myself. That is all only fitness. What I just said right there is all only fitness. Mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, that was the physical side. That obviously helps on the mental side. As long as I can stay clear, I can stay goal oriented. I know this. That was the routine I set for myself. It's the one I still follow today. And there are days, I promise you, I fall short. There are days that something comes up that I can't get home at that exact moment. There's things that I have to do something later in the evening that don't allow me to get to bed to be able to get up early to do the 4 to 4:30 a.m. wake up time. I promise you there's things that come up all the time. But I got to try to fit it in the best I can because I know what I'm shooting for. And I know something that doesn't end that result. If I don't do this, if I'm not physical, or if I'm not into my fitness on the physical side of that future me, my purpose, I won't make it. I'll never make it to that goal. It's just going to be pushed further and further out. It's a mirage at that point. I need to become more clear the closer I get. So the physical side, the routine is a check. We've got that one down. It will change over time as things get involved, as new opportunities come to you and you start to grow within your own space and towards your purpose. In some of the other areas, you will get other opportunities that will throw a wrench in the plan. It won't always be the same. It just absolutely won't be. So understand that. Having said that, fitness is a check. I've got it down. I understand what I'm doing. I know my goals. I know my routine. I know what I want to do. I know what I'm going to do. We're good. So from there, what's next? It's that purpose, right? Okay. Not even the purpose, actually, now I'm thinking about it. That was the fitness side of things. My mindset. Mentally, physically, financially, spiritually. Mentally, had to get my mind right. What did that mean? What did it mean, get my mind right? What was I doing? Where was I failing? What was happening? One thing I had to do was just really get clear and honest with myself on what was happening with me. Where was my mind? Like, where was my headspace? Where was my mindset? How did I feel about my life in that moment? I can tell you right now, I did not feel good about myself. I was not speaking to or about myself in any good way. Had a lot of negative, self talk that was going on, which ultimately led to a less than optimal view of myself, of my future, of my current situation. It just really created problems. So from there, it was routine for mental, right? For my mentality, for my headspace, for my mindset. Okay, same process. What is it that keeps me down the most? It's that negative speech pattern. It was something that, and again, I'm writing all this down. When do I notice that my mentality is going down more and more and more? When is it the lowest in the day? For me, personally, there was multiple layers to this. There was multiple times a day that it was very, very low. One was first thing in the morning. If I laid in bed too long, my mind would start racing because it would start to come alive in the reality of my situation or the night that I just got through that was full of nightmares or bad sleep. My mind would just start beating me down, negative speech towards myself over and over and over. And it layered it on her. Since I layered that day after day, it defaulted to that. So I had to break that. So I knew first thing in the morning was a huge part for me. What was another part of my day that was awful? Well, if I'm being real, most of my day involved, my work, wherever that was, whoever I was working around. Like I said, I've done construction work for a long time now. I'm an electrician. My coworkers, and some of them were in the company I'm in, and some of them were just other tradesmen in another area. That was a big area of my mind not doing well. But it was because I noticed that everybody else wasn't doing well. It was very surface level. It was just another part of the day I wrote that down too. During work, which, let's be real, that's 8 hours of my day. It's a big portion. What was another time? Is there more times my mind wasn't treating myself the best? Was there other parts of the day that my mind was sabotaging me? Let's see, when was it? It was at nighttime. It's at nighttime. It was when I felt bored, when I maybe had some downtime at home by myself. Now that, I'm divorced, my family's gone, I'm alone. In the early days, it was me and my truck, or in the spare bedroom of my mom's house at times. You don't want to go in there and talk about that kind of stuff. You don't want to verbalize it. You just hold on to it. You get deeper. So at night was another time. So right there's my day. When I got up, when I was at work, in evening time. Damn, it's a lot. Okay, what are my hard parts of my day? Same thing with the fitness, right? Work starts at this time, work ends at this time. Here's when I have to get up. Here's when, depending on the time of the year, here's when my kid's sports stuff is because I was the coach or he had to get there. The things that already were pre-planned, I set them down, wrote them down. Put them out, put time blocks on them. Okay, starting with the first one, right? Tackle the day from the beginning down. The morning. What was it that made the morning bad? Well, I was laying in bed thinking about my day, thinking about what was happening. I didn't have time to think if I kept moving. This one's something that's repeated. You've watched any of these videos, you know this already. I instantly had to tell myself, keep moving. Keep moving, get busy. Don't lay in bed, the alarm goes off, you get up. That's it. No laying there. No excuses, get up. So I do that. I do that to this day. Do not lay there. Do not let that negative self-talk start your day and dictate your day. I knew if I could break that habit early, I could win my day. I would be one more step closer. From there, what's next? Well, there's work. What's going on at work? Why is it so shitty at work? It's because everybody's speaking that way. Everyone's talking about how today sucks. That's my influence. It's the other people, right? It's the environment. I had all this external negative energy coming at me constantly. I didn't create a bubble around myself. I let the people around me dictate the routine of the job. They created my routine of the job. They created my purpose within my job. ultimately, they created the career. See how that starts to work? I'd walk in. Why was my mind negative? What was happening? Well, everyone would talk about how they don't want to be there that morning. They're over. I don't want to be here. First thing they were saying, which let me know they probably talked about that to themselves on their way in, which also let me know they probably talked about it that night before with their family or maybe by themselves. Who knows? But that's what they started talking about. Everyone was lazy. Everyone sat down right when they got to work. They've already been moving. They've been active, but they would sit right down. They would come in, set their crap down, maybe open the gang box, get the tools out, and then instantly sit down on their lunchbox or in a chair or on the floor and just sit. It was like a morning break started right away. So the day started off very low vibration, low energy. And everyone's talking about how shitty the day's going to be and how they don't want to be there. So you're just looking at these people. And that's about all they talked about. Because if they weren't talking about that, they were just looking down at their phones. Looking at their phones, which that's a whole nother conversation for a totally different day. But just that the perception from social media is so wrong. Everyone thinks everyone else's lives is amazing when in reality, it's just as normal as yours. That would be the way the day started. And then eventually, somebody that was in charge would say, hey, let's get going. Let's get after this. Let's do this. Yeah, and everyone would make fun of them. Not only would they make fun of them, they'd call them names. These grown ass men, but they would, make them feel bad for doing a good job or wanting to get to work. Ultimately, I just saw that all that shit in the morning was creating my perception. So I decided that right there in that moment, it's very clear on what is creating this for me first thing in the morning at work. It's the environment, it's the people. So I was able to clearly say, okay, what's my routine going to be from now on? I'm going to go into work. I'm going to get my tools out. I'm going to go to what I need to do right away. If I'm the one running the job, I'm going to hopefully have the plan for tomorrow before I leave. I understand sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes it can't happen. I had to be very real with myself, but it was all purpose-based. Let's get this done. Let's go. Let's get after it. Okay, let's do it. That's how that went. So from there, get in there, start work. Okay, cool. Get back to work. Now, one thing you got to realize is that's just the people within your crew. There's people everywhere else doing the same shit, being the same low-level people. What's that mean? I got to separate. I got to create my bubble. Headphones in. Put on the stuff that drives me. Put on the stuff that helps me see that bigger picture. My purpose helps me connect to my purpose. For me, with certain types of speeches, again, not speeches dealing with motivation and not just the arbitrary motivational speech. It was something that spoke to me better, which is athletic-based, performance-based speeches. Loved them. Listened to them all day, nonstop. There was no excuse. So that got me through most of my day. And again, as we've already talked about the lunch thing, lunch was the same thing as in the morning. That was an easy one to solve. What's everybody doing at lunch? They're all bitching about their job. They're all bitching about the day. They're all talking about how they don't want to be there. They're all eating their shitty ass food. I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not going to be a part of that. I made my decision. So brought food that worked for me, food that I could eat quickly, food that I didn't have to go heat up in a microwave. None of that. I didn't need to be around anybody. I was shooting for my end game goal, not for theirs. I wasn't allowing them to mess up my routine and create it for me and get involved in the negative speech. That was their routine. I wasn't going to allow them to create, I wasn't going to allow them to place it upon me and create my routine for me. Not anymore. I had a new purpose. After that, honestly, it's the end of the day, the end of the workday. I promise you this. You go through windows of time in the early days of doing those kind of work routines and trying to get them straight and learning what works for you and what doesn't. And people are going to try to tear you down. They're going to make fun of you. They're going to start thinking you're not there for them anymore. You're being a dick. You're being an ass. It doesn't even matter. But that's what they're going to tell you. They're going to treat you like they think you're treating them. Who cares? It doesn't matter. None of it matters. You've got your routine that's built for your purpose. They aren't your purpose. Your purpose isn't to make them happy. But here's the good part about that. It won't take long before they just forget about you, before they ignore you because it's who you've been, or it's who you are and who you've been long enough for them not to worry about you. Because here's what's going to happen there too. When you start showing up and becoming a producer and getting things done way more than other people, they start to feel intimidated. So that's why they attack you. And before long, you're just known as the guy that gets shit done. And they know they can't hang with you, so they'll just disappear. And ultimately, they're not the ones giving you your job anyways. So it doesn't matter, you're not there to impress them. So that little window of time, it doesn't even matter. Chances are you aren't hanging out with those people after work anyways. And if you are, and that's the way they spoke to you, you don't need to anymore anyways either. You just did yourself a favor. That you can move on from. At the end of the day, it's the same way. Pack your shit up, go home. You got things to do. You got a physical side to take care of. What are you doing that way home for the mentality? Listen to powerful shit. You're getting ready to work out. You're going home for a purpose. What is your purpose? To work out. Shut off the motivational shit. Get into the fitness stuff. Nothing but how do you get better at fitness. Check out routines. If you know what type of workout you're doing that day, if you're somebody that follows me, if you're a client of mine, check out the videos. Check out the resources I give or that I suggest. Listen to their podcasts. All that. Get straight on what you're going to do. Get clear. Because once you get home, it's time to act. It's time to move. So keep your mind right there. Throughout the evening, it's time down, right? We're still in the mentality. What is it that gets you thinking negative in the evening? Well, it's when I'm sitting still and there's nothing going on. A huge catalyst was social media. I have no idea who you are in this world. If you're watching this, you consume some sort of social media, but I'm going to be real. If you're consuming this, chances are you are purposeful with your social media. That's how I am now. I wasn't always. That's why there is no flash here. It's just facts. It's just conversation. It's just connection. You need to get very serious about your social media because for me, I would get on there randomly. Of course, my ex-wife at the time would be posting pictures of her and the kids constantly because she needed to put on the front of look how happy I am. And you know what? Now that I said she needs to put on the front, I don't know that to be true. I can't put that upon her. I can't speak that upon her. I don't know if that's what it was. That's how I saw it. That's how I labeled it. And I took it as an offensive thing to me, like, oh, wow, she's trying to show everybody how great she's doing with our kids. Look how happy she is, and I'm sitting here miserable. But that was me with my negative self-talk. That was my mentality. So it didn't matter whether she was or wasn't doing it for that reason. I had to get my head right. I had to decide what it meant. For me, I wasn't doing shit on social media anyways. I wasn't doing anything to help me grow. I would just let the feed, I'd let the algorithm show me what it was going to show me. Of course, what's the algorithm used to? Well, I was married for so many years, 10 years. So I used to look at my wife's shit. So when she tags my kids in them, or anybody for that matter, it wants to show me. When she started dating people, it tried to show me. Fuck that, man. Get off that shit. It was doing nothing for me. None of it's there for anything. Social media is probably the biggest pile of fucking bullshit ever if you don't use it properly. If you aren't using it to grow and only consuming people's information that's truly that, there to inform, all you're doing is getting pitched. All you're doing is getting sold. All you're doing is getting your emotions toyed with. They're playing with your weaknesses as a human. All the hooks, all the attention grabbers, all the flashiness, all the quick cut scenes, the sound effects, all the little kitty bullshit. Do you think it's a coincidence that they have to cut real fast back and forth, zoom in and out, screen blasts everywhere, confetti shooting up, bright lights? Do you think it's weird they have to do that? Guess what else does that? My fucking toddler's shows. My little kid shows do that. With the little blue dog bouncing around, they have to cut back and forth. All that shit. Isn't that weird? They know it works. They try to talk to you at a 5th grade level or lower. They need you to react. They're trying to get your attention. It's all they're doing. Very few are there to actually help. So make sure that you cultivate your space in social media. Consider it your space. If you're somebody that does anything on social media, that's anything. Facebook, Instagram, if you're a person that does TikTok and gets in that shit, Snapchat or any of that garbage, which maybe by the time you're seeing this, all that's irrelevant. There's some other new shit coming out. YouTube's another one, which is where you're watching this. Just make sure you're cultivating your stuff. If you do decide to watch some garbage because you need to mindlessly scroll something to get your mind right, there's nothing wrong with that. But sign out of your account. Sign out of your Google account. Don't be in your personal one. Go in incognito mode. Sign in as a guest. I don't give a shit. But watch that content as that, not in your personal account. Be purposeful. So that's what I do in the evenings. I made sure I was watching things or taking things in. And if I couldn't find anything to do, I would get up and do stuff. Whether that's another workout, whether that's just doing push-ups, whether that's a walk, whether it's a run, whether that's volunteering, whether that's anything at all. If I had the downtime, I tried to keep myself busy, cleaning all of it. All of it. That's how I kept my mentality right. Oh, jeez. That was it. Now that rounded out my mental day. That's me writing it all down every single step of the way. I'd write it down, do it for a few days, see how it worked. Did it work? Did I need to move things? Did I need to re-implement? I do that forever. I still do that. Mentally, physically, check. Routines towards my purpose. Financially, okay, things might be a little tough. You just went through a divorce. Here's something to pay attention to that I did not pay attention to. It was such a mind fuck. Everyone wants you to feel like you have been financially crippled because you're going through a divorce. I'm here to tell you right now that is not the case. It is not the case. The second you accept that and you say that, oh yeah, I'm destitute, I'm losing all my money, I'm doing all that, you will become that. You will act in accordance of that. Money will become scarce. You'll always be chasing it in a negative fashion. You will hoard it, which will never help. You're going to be holding it like you're holding a fistful of sand. It's just running out constantly. You're not deploying it for the way it needs to be done to grow your life. You're always going to make more money. There's always more of it. Hell, number one, or in this time frame, if you're watching this somewhat recently, they're always printing the shit. But number two, let's be real, it's all in circulation. It just constantly is in a flow. It is not a finite thing. It comes and it goes and it comes and it goes. It's ebbs and flows. You try to hold on to it, I promise you, things will go bad in your life and it will leave you. The house will always have issues. The cars will always have issues. Unexpected bills will come up. Children will hurt themselves. Doctor bills, dentist bills, all of it. It will happen. I promise you. So if you save for it, you will spend it. If you don't save for it, you will figure out how to have it. It will happen. You will figure it out. I promise you. So early on, decide that is not who you are. You are a person of abundance. You are not financially destitute. You just need to be financially smart. You need to start to learn more of what it means. You are now a single income. You now have bills to take care of as a single income. Get a very, very clear path on this. For me, I went from making a lot of money with a spouse that made good money and having my dream everything. I had what I wanted at that time. I did let people early on speak on to me those limitations. Oh, you're going to be careful. Oh man, you're probably losing everything. Oh man. And as I was selling the houses and I was selling the cars, that became the thing. That became the reality because I let them tell me, oh my gosh, that's got to be horrible. What are you going to do about your custom motorcycle? What are you going to do about your classic cars in your truck and like all that stuff? What are you going to do about it? Like, you can't sell it all. You're probably going to sell it all, aren't you? Number one, I did sell it all. Some of it got sold because I let people speak that upon me. Most of it got sold because I started to realize how fucking stupid it all was for me personally. Doesn't mean it's stupid for you. It just means it was stupid for me personally. It didn't make sense. There was no reason to have all the bullshit, all the bills, all the unnecessary things. There's literally no reason. Having said that though, I went into a financially scarce mindset. I had some serious anxiety over it. I had a lot of overwhelm. And I wasn't clear on how to get financially set. So I was used to my old life, which was, at that point, I'd worked hard enough and set enough things up to be financially free, to have a very easy daily life when it came to finances. So I needed to set up my new routine. Okay, what do I need to do? Well, number one, what do I even have? What do I have moving forward? Okay. Now, mind you, this was after the house was sold because we needed to do that. Neither one of us wanted to take on that much debt just for a house. That would have put both of us individually very financially strapped. So we knew the house was done. Okay, the cars, it didn't mean anything to me. I didn't care enough. Found myself thinking that, well, I can't drive them all at once. Anyways, it didn't matter. The custom motorcycle I built, it's just a motorcycle. I can build another one if I want to. I live in Indiana. I can't even ride it half the year. Got rid of that. Classic cars, one in particular, that's the one where the financial stress that I let other people speak upon me, that is one I regret. It's a car I really, really loved. I wish to this day I still had it. I probably will try to get another one, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, it didn't matter. That was gone. So at this point, I'm looking for a house. I'm sleeping in my truck. As you guys well are aware of, I was also sleeping at my mom's house, off and on. What did I make a week at my job when I worked a 40-hour week? Here's what I made right there. Money coming in a week. Okay. In 4 weeks, what is that a month? Okay, that's easy. It's easy math right there. Okay. What do I need to do? What kind of house do I need to find? What does my payment need to be to make sure I'm financially free? Well, I mean, you could spend damn near 100% of your paycheck on your house if you really wanted to, which is incredibly ill advised. Because I don't know what you would eat. I don't know how you'd put gas in your vehicle. I don't know what you would do for utilities. I don't know what you'd do in case something did happen. But technically, you could do that. For me, I knew right out of the gate my house payment needed to be paid by myself with one paycheck. That was what I needed to do. So that was my goal. Okay, what do I make a week? X number of dollars. Okay. What was interest rate at this time? You need to call the banks. How much of a house could I afford? What could I get for one payment? Okay. Or one paycheck a week as the payment. Okay. I see that. We're good. Found the house. I'm in it right now, working on the garage. Found the house. Obviously, the times dictate the type of house you can get, how much you can get, all that. It dictates that. I understand interest rates are way higher. I understand all that. Money's not cheap like it was, but it's the reality you're playing with. Remember, it's what is happening and not seeing it as what ought to be or what should. It's functioning within the world and your circumstances as they currently are. So there, okay, cool. What's next? Well, I know I'm into fitness. What do I need to eat minimum to make sure my body at least doesn't get sloppy? I need to have minimum amount of food. Okay, cool. Here's what it is. Here's my grocery bill. I don't have to have high-end meats. I don't have to have high-end carbs. I just need the ones that I can get. Okay, here's what my grocery bill will be a week. Again, as we all know, groceries change prices. You can't plan for that. You just need to plan for what's going on right now. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Start to go through that. What are your bills monthly? What are your extras? What is your cell phone? What is your vehicle if you have a payment? All that, insurance, everything. What does it take? Okay. Once you get clear on that, you know how much money you have in excess. Those are the bills that have to be paid. Do not fall for the trap of the conveniences, the fast food bullshit, the stupid fucking coffees in the morning that cost $5 and $6 a day. All that bullshit. It's all garbage. Get it out. You're here to bootstrap. You're here to get after it. The only extra money I would spend is every month I would see how much I had left over. Okay. What can I learn? I am willing to always invest in myself. Always. There will never be a moment that I'm not open to growth. There'll never be a moment I'm not open to putting money towards my future. Because my future is what I'm interested in. And my family's future can only be good if my future's good. My future has to be built on a strong foundation for theirs to be built on a strong foundation. So I am always open and willing to put money towards my future. But listen, I'm never, ever unclear on how much I can actually put towards my future. So I always knew what I could do. So when an opportunity came up, if it made sense, if it was in line with my routine that was pointing me towards my purpose, which ultimately would build what I want to be potentially my career in the future, I worked towards that. I invested in myself to get there. Once I got clear on that, I felt more financially free than I ever had. In a weird way, even though my ex-wife's income had literally been pulled out, but she had a very good job. She did very well for herself. She helped a lot. We were very close to 50-50 on the income. Even when I was making a lot of money, she made a lot. So even though at a point in my life when I was making less than I probably ever had relative to my adult life, I felt more financially free and more financially abundant than I ever had. I didn't have to clear anything with another human. I didn't have to decide whether, crap, what if, and what if this, and what if that, and how about that. I already knew what the fuck I was doing. This is what I'm doing. I'm working towards it. This dollar, this penny, is going exactly where it needs to. Towards me, towards my future, towards my family's future, towards my purpose. Oh, yeah. That was how I handled money. I did that day in and day out. If there was overtime, if it made sense, I took it. But I'm gonna be real with you. If the overtime conflicted with other parts of the routine, other parts of the purpose, and they didn't add to the bigger picture, I passed up on it. Because it wasn't part of my routine every day. There's only certain times in my life that I've done overtime, done side projects. It wasn't until I started to create freedom that I started taking on clients, again, for personal training. It wasn't until I started taking on clients to help them through their divorce, until I was so positive of how I did it, and that I had the time to actually devote to them, to be there for them, to not just say, hey, bring your questions to this one call a week and not talk to you at all until that next week. To be able to give them my personal number and say, hey, we are connected now. We are connected. Text me whenever you want. Shit gets real, call me. Call me. We're here. I'm here together. You aren't going through this alone. But it wasn't until those things got straight that I was able to even come close to doing that. It wasn't until all those things started getting clear until I started these videos. Again, go back in the timeline. Look at the huge gap in the very beginning. It was like 4 months until I started doing videos like this. My routine, I had to throw that in there, which threw a wrench into my routine. I thought I had to sit at a desk because that's what everybody was doing. I thought I had to look a certain way because that's how most of it looked. I thought I had to have all these stupid fucking edits. So I was learning that shit on the side. None of that had to happen. I got clear on that. It wasn't until I got clear, sat down and wrote it all down again. Routine, purpose, career. I was creating it. Nobody else was. I had to realize that. I had to stop and say, what the fuck is going on? I don't feel good. This isn't working. The reason it's not working because it's not within my sphere. There's no growth happening. Things were suffering all over because I was trying to force this new thing in, but I wasn't clear on my routine. Here we are. Routine set again. I'm able to do so much more. It's opening up things on a career level that I never thought possible. So having said that, that's how the financial front went. Again, always building the routine, getting super, super, super clear. Oh my God. Oh God, ugly ass face. That routine is what got me there. It's 4 exercises. Maybe I can do one more time. Let's see what time it is here. And I'm gonna watch on today. Going on an hour. It's right at 4. Okay. We can do one more exercise to clean this off for my rest. Get my breathing back to normal. Spiritually is that last part. Mentally, physically, financially, spiritually. Listen, this order that you start creating this life, the order in which you tackle these is not, it's not like I'm going to tell you one thing has to be done before the other. I can tell you some of the biggest movers. One of the biggest movers is physically. Early on, anybody that works with me will be moving physically early. This will set the pace. This will be one of the first routines we set up. It's that important. Having said that, spiritually was one of the last things that I focused on. In complete transparency, I haven't figured this one out. I've got practices that help. Because as I've talked about in other videos, and as I will talk about in future videos, I'm huge on defining what does that mean to me? The word spiritually, what does that mean to me? What does it mean to my life that I'm creating? Does it mean a godlike figure? Does it mean God in the form of, Catholic American, a Christian American? All the different religions all over the world. Is that what I'm looking at spiritually? Or am I looking at a meaning of energies when I hear spiritually? Am I seeing spiritually as the energies around the world, the energies that come from within the earth, that come from each person, that come from the sky, that come down, the sun, everything? Is that what I'm speaking of when I say spiritually? Do I think spiritually comes from that? I didn't know at that time. I don't know at this time. I do know one thing. That one thing that I do know is that I don't know the answer. And by being able to say I don't know the answer allows me to be open to any of the possibilities. It allows me to accept other people's viewpoints on something I'm truly trying to work on myself. It allows me to grow past my limitations, hopefully. Because if I decided that one thing is the end all, I would never be able to grow. I would never be able to take in the information that I may not be aware of. Because you just don't know what you don't know. So I'm always able to listen to some people, I'm always able to listen to other people's coherent examples. Some people get to blabbing. Some people get to spouting off and screaming in your face. They can't accept that you don't agree with them. I will not listen to that. I will usually just walk away. They're not worth the interaction. God. So again, for me, spiritually, I don't know. Where I lean, just so it's known, I guess, at this moment. First off, I was raised Catholic. That's what family was. We went to church, to a Catholic church, all that. That's just what I was brought up in. Right now, I don't have an answer, but where I lean towards is just I'm trying to put out good energy, be the best person I can be better daily. Just so I can hopefully put out that positive energy. I lean further towards the energy of the earth, the energy of the sun, all of that create a better human. The more connected I am with the reality of this world, where we actually are, I'm this insignificant, minuscule speck on this massive rock within a universe that has no boundaries that we know of. All this society stuff is just built by a bunch of people that want you to function a certain way within their world. You don't have to do any of it, technically. That's how I try to keep my mind right. God. damn, it's an ugly fucking face. That's how I know I'm done. One last set. One last set. I make the ugliest fucking faces. That's where I fall spiritually. I know that I had to incorporate it somewhere in my routine. One of the early ways I did it, because this one's hard to quantify down on paper. That's why it's taken me the longest. That's why I pushed it to last. But one of the biggest things is trying to see it from a new lens. So let me break that down a little bit. Have you ever noticed when you're in a vehicle and you're going through a completely new city or state or town or countryside, and you're not driving, you're actually riding in the passenger seat, or you're walking a trail you've never been on, anything like that? You take in that space as a brand new place. You see all these amazing possibilities. You can see a house being built there. You can see yourself living there, and you think, wow, I would love to live there. That'd be amazing. Where in reality, the person driving the car that's from that area, they're just looking at the road. It's just another day for them. This is just another country road with some trees and not much to show. You ever notice that? Now put yourself back into your own town right now. You just drive to work. When you're driving to your house, like myself, I live out in the country, so I see the same countryside over and over. I take it for granted daily. When I was able to make that connection and see it for its beauty and almost treat it as if I was seeing it for the first time, which is it's kind of weird at first because you're kind of telling yourself something that you know you're lying to yourself about. This isn't the first time you've seen it, but you need to stop and try to see it through that lens. See the possibilities of that land that you have taken for granted, what is probably thousands of times now. Treat it as if you've never seen it before. Only see the beauty, only see its possibilities. That was one way that I did that in the early days. I started to see things from that new lens, from the what was hopefully unaffected lens. That's how I ended up in this space. Holy shit. One more. So ugly. So fucking ugly. But that's what made me realize. That's what got me to realize that, there's a lot of beauty here. I'm seeing the world as it's being placed upon me, not how it actually is. And that is what started to head me towards the energy side of spirit, if I'm being real. There's not much more I can say on that at the moment. I'm still learning. I'm open for any sort of insights or anything on that. So again, I'll have my email down at the bottom here. Please comment. Please send me an email. If you have questions, let's talk. If you disagree, let's talk. It's the only way we can grow. I enjoy it all. All right, man. Until next time.